That was a great interview, Jeff. Now, finally, where can I find your website?
I don't have a website.
What?
I just never got around to making one.
You know what? I can't take you seriously with an attitude like that. I am extremely disappointed in you. To not have a website is irresponsible, lazy, you lack ambition. I mean, where's the vision?
Don't be like Jeff. Be responsible. Get out there and shine with a beautiful website by Web Orchard, where they will take care of all of your website needs. Go to theweborchard.com right now and get a beautiful website you deserve.
You know what? Get out.
Hey guys, and welcome to the Shrewsbury Biscuit podcast with me, Alex Whiteley, with a late episode. This was meant to be out last week. I've had to re-record new intros and everything. I uploaded the audio, the wrong audio for the podcast. So what I do is I take the main feature, I then slap on an intro and an outro, but they get saved separately. And what I actually did was I uploaded the feature interview with no intros or outros. It would have been just dead boring without me talking and stuff. So this is why it's a late. I was in Turkey and I couldn't fix it because I didn't take my laptop. Because when you go to Turkey, right, I was sitting by the pool, eating and drinking and having a good time. So I've come back and here I am. We're recording this for you beautiful people. Today we've got the amazing Kat Merrick on the show. She's a good friend of the show. We've known each other for a while. We did our first podcast sort of mid-pandemic, sort of like that break that we had after the first bout of COVID. I got when we were all sort of free again. I was very impressed with Kat because she was trying to be positive and keep people moving and giving people sort of things to do and look at and be during COVID. So she brought on a podcast. She's very positive, talking about a lot of really positive things about breathing and dance. Yoga is very important, and I really need to embrace that in part of my life. I think it'd be really good for me, but I just never had the chance. But that's why I appreciate having friends like Kat. So if I do ever want to dip my toe into that, she's there, and you can hear her story right now. Couple of things. I was talking with a gentleman over the week before I went to Turkey about. I was still watching them demolish the Riverside in Shrewsbury. It's fascinating to watch, isn't it? I mean, we're watching Shrewsbury skyline change, possibly for our lifetimes, and I'm quite excited about the prospects of what's going to happen and what it's going to look like and what it could bring to the town. This gentleman, unfortunately, was quite negative, like, oh, how could they do this to our town? The typical kind of thing you kind of hear. And I want to open up a dialogue. I really want to speak to someone that's part of the development, bring them on the show and have a conversation so that maybe we can dispel a few myths and a few negative theories and so maybe get a few people on board or even just understand what's happening, because I always feel like conversation is really important in situations like this. So if you're listening to this and you know someone that's involved with that, or you're yourself are involved with it, let's get someone together, get in touch with me, and we can put together a podcast. Next week, I'm speaking to Julia Buckley, our MP. It's so nice to be able to just arrange an interview with a local MP. It's really cool. Phil Gillam, another great friend of the show. Thank you so much for helping organise that. And also Darren Tompkins for letting us use Gin Different in the market hall. The UK's best market. Continuously. I love that place. It's phenomenal. So yes, lots going on with the biscuit. All right, I'm going to let you enjoy this episode with Kat Merrick. I hope you enjoy it. Now I want you to breathe, relax, be present, and enjoy this podcast with Kat Merrick.
Every time I think of that, I think of what was said and done. I don't think there's much change. I think I'm still the same. I'm sure some people disagree, but I don't care 'cause I am me. Stick to what you can. Stick to what you plan.
Hi guys, welcome to a great episode of I say great episode, that's that's me being absolutely optimistic, the most optimistic I think I've been this week. We're coming to you today from the Shrewsbury Coffee House, which is a lovely little, if you come in and you've never been downstairs to sit down and have a coffee, it's a nice little hidden nook, I think, in Shrewsbury. It's a great little spot. And today I'm speaking to a good friend, Kat Merrick, who we saw last time at Loop Fest, which I think you probably saw me at quite a a bewildered moment, I think. And we can go into that in a bit, actually. But like that's the last time I properly saw it. But the last time we did an interview, I did it on a little H6 recorder in the parade shops.
That's it.
That's how long it's been. That was
Yeah,
like
it's been a while.
5 years ago, 4 or 5 years ago. Something like
Yeah. Yeah.
that. So much has changed in that time.
A lot has changed, a lot.
How are you?
It's good to be here. It's really, I'm good. I'm good today. It's been such a long time since we've sat down, so there'll probably be lots of different like offshoots and things about where we might go. But but thanks for inviting me back on again.
No, I've been dying to speak to you for a while anyway, because I reference you an awful lot because I think you genuinely helped me.
Amazing.
Because we did an episode and you were talking about how the podcast is actually quite holistic and in the way that it's a kind of meditation, and the focus on this is quite important. And also the breathing in the shower, that kind of thing. All that is like the start of my journey in learning how to breathe and get through situations that are quite difficult.
Amazing.
So I'm also like, that cat Merrick, she taught me a thing or two, like it was really good. And that was just before the pandemic, wasn't it, if I remember? Because then you started doing
it might have been kind of like in the midst of it where we kind of came out of lockdown and then we went back in again. Although I know in terms, you referenced like the cold showers and ice bathing, which I don't actually do anymore. But at the time, it was literally that February before the first March lockdown. So
wow, good memory.
Yeah.
You have to be really on my board today. Do you remember when you
Don't
said
worry,
that wasn't me, Alex.
Okay.
That wasn't me.
So yeah, when we chatted, I think it might have been just after that first little lockdown, in the middle where it kind of opened back up before it went back in again.
I think,
but yeah, it was in the parade, wasn't it?
Oh yeah. Good old days. I love that place. And for anybody listening to know what I'm talking about, Beth Heath and the guys, I say Shropshire, I think it's Think Tank, isn't it? Shropshire Think Tank. They were looking after the PR and stuff for the parade at the time. I don't know if they're still doing it. If they are, they're doing a great job. And they were like, "Oh, they've got empty units at the parade. Why don't you use one?" And I was like, "Okay." So we did. And we set up a studio, and I'd go and I'd meet people at the studio and we record there. And then once all the units filled up, we left. But it was, we're still on good terms with the parade. It was just such a nice time. It's nice to have a HQ.
Yeah.
But that being said, I do love sampling all the coffee shops around town, and we record at mine as well. Do you know what I mean? So it's like quite nice.
I love the coffee shops in Shrewsbury. I absolutely love it. It's like my favourite thing.
Spoiled for choice, aren't we?
Yeah.
I don't think I've been to a Costa or Starbucks in years because you don't have to. There's much better coffee in places like this.
Oh yeah, perfect.
So, at the time I spoke to you before the pandemic, you were doing Breathe Dance Yoga.
That's right, yeah. I was under the name of Breathe Dance Yoga, and I was doing online and like a free Facebook group for yoga during the pandemic. And so that I think that's where you spotted me and then invited me on, and it would never have occurred to me to actually come on and talk about it. So the fact that like the recognition you gave me actually made me go a bit like, oh yeah, I'm doing quite a good job.
You are. I feel like if you're putting your stuff out there to the universe, sometimes the universe has got to say yes back, hasn't it? Yeah. But I was doing quite a number of online classes, and I was under the banner of Breathe Dance and Yoga. And I stuck with that up until about this time last year. And it just felt, I was running a retreat. And as I was holding the retreat and holding this space for these amazing women who over the weekend went through their own little transformational journey and shed layers and let go of things and kind of put in intentions for the year ahead, I had a real strong intuitive hit that it was time to let go of Breathe Dance and Yoga. And I was already kind of moving towards that because where I was with Breathe Dance and Yoga, it kind of pretty much said what it did on the tin. We were using breath work, functional breath work. We were using yoga and we were using dance in different formats. But I really felt like I'd expanded out beyond that. I've been doing my NLP coaching. I haven't finished it, but NLP?
Neuro-linguistic programming.
Okay.
So it allows you to like change your language and approach your beliefs in a way that helps you to reframe things or embed different beliefs, and just it's just a form of coaching to help you view things differently. So there's a few elements of that I was already bringing in. I will finish that at some point, but and I've got that, and things like journaling and affirmation and gratitude practices. And so it just felt like I was expanding out beyond the confines of just breathe, dance and yoga. And I wanted something that would, and I also recognised that I was being a little bit kind of fluid with where I might be going. Like, not always, like I might run a workshop with nothing to do with yoga and breathwork, but it might all be dance-based and, you know, maybe a little bit of an abundance practice and manifestation. And so I wanted something that I could embody every facet and element of who I am, and not have to worry if at some point I go, I don't quite fit that name anymore. and so
free form sort of.
Yeah.
I get that.
But everything I do is really coming from this space of empowerment and joyful empowerment and reclaiming your personal power within all the, like yoga and breathwork and meditation. They're all practices and tools, and even within them you've got kind of different variants, but all the practices and tools are aiming to get you to a place where you can feel like authentic and happy and joyful and vibrant. And so that's where this vibrant life came, because we've only got one, and it's this one. And if we can't step into this vibrant life, like, where are we going? So it was like this realization that if I'm under the banner of this vibrant life, I can pull in, I can learn new modalities, and I can bring that in at any point, but it's all working towards this empowerment.
I love that you've taken yourself out of that corner, because you kind of cornered yourself, like you said, with the breathing, the dancing, the yoga. You're kind of like, wow. Now I'm kind of pigeonholed into this, which I think that I know you love dance. I know dance is like really important to you, but to be able to expand into that and to like you've evolved like a Pokemon. You move, you're Raichu, is it? After Pikachu, Raichu. You now like. I've got very limited knowledge of Pokemon. I remember the cartoon, but you have evolved.
Yeah,
you've
I've
moved
evolved.
into something different.
Yeah, I have. And funnily enough, one of the I guess I call them my foundational principles, and everything I do follows this format of embrace, evolve, embody. And at first, like I was kind of like I went into a really deep, like think hole, I'll call it, and I was getting like feedback from the women who'd been working closely with me anyway, and you know there was this kind of evolution element to it, and then the embodiment as well, and then this and the embracing of where you're actually at. Like I heard on I think it was an audiobook, or it could have been a podcast about when you start get a sat nav, you put in your location where you're at. You don't go, oh, well, I'm going to travel from that town over there to this town. You put in your current location, and it's like, what if you can't see where you're at currently? How do you move forward? So, like, we sometimes have a bit of a disconnect with where we are now. So
and that's really important with almost every. I'm going to take photos and stuff, by the way, while we're doing this. So if you see me aiming the camera, I thought I'll get that in because
my best side.
Yeah, I'm going to start warning people when I start doing it, because otherwise I get the what are you doing? Not yet. I'll do it in a minute. But you got when you say you know where you are, like I think some people get a false idea of who they are and where they are at the time.
Yeah.
So that can cause you to grow too quickly. It can cause you to over promote yourself into something that you're not quite ready to do. So, and maybe even like not even take part in something because you don't think you're ready. So if you've got like a very low self-esteem, like myself, you know, at times I've gone like I'm just a little podcast guy. But yesterday I looked on Podchaser. There you go. It's a bit like IMDb for podcasts. I realised I've been on 1,078 different podcasts that I've produced, guested, and hosted.
It's amazing.
And I'm sat there going, I'm an Adonis. I'm good at this.
That.
Like, you know,
take it. It's yours.
So that is you've got. Like,
you can own that.
Sometimes the room wobbles a bit when you
Absolutely.
realise that actually you're a bit better than what you thought.
Yeah, and you can have like you can feel like you're in a past version of you as well. Like the reason why that format worked for me, particularly in the last year, is like I had to really sit down and go, I'm in the midst of perimenopause, I'm struggling, and I can't continue doing what I was doing 5 years ago and expect results that are going to move me forward.
Yeah.
So I had to like really sit and embrace all of that. I'm not my 35-year-old self, I'm my 4-year-old self. Last year, I'm now 45. And just like, and I've got teens, I've got teenagers, they require my attention in a different way to when they were kids. So there's this a whole like cyclical shift for everybody in like where you're at in your family life, in your relationships, in your job, in your social life, and how you fit into that. And it might be that you just don't fit anymore in some of those areas. So when you acknowledge it and embrace it, you can go, okay, but where do I want to be? And then that's the evolve bit. Like, how do you evolve? Are you ready just to do it yourself? Do you need help from somebody? Do you need to read? Do you need to go on a course? Do you need like an accountability buddy? Do you need a coach? Do you need a yoga teacher? Like, what is it that you're aiming to? And then as you evolve through that process, that's kind of quite a chunky process, you get to embody this new level of who you want to be and who you are.
We talk about perimenopause, menopause. It's one of those. I mean, I've a great interview with Susan Shrock a couple of years ago. Amazing strength coach. Who's like, we kick down the barriers of what you expected to be able to do in menopause.
Yeah.
Sometimes people are like, ooh, menopause, like,
Yeah.
But no, menopause, this is part of your life. Embrace it, and like you said, and go for it, and run towards it, and be who you want to be, I suppose. You know.
Yeah,
it's
but
strength.
it does shift a lot. Like I've been working with a nutritionist, and the big thing for me was that it kicked off. I live with eczema, and for most of my life, it's been pretty. I've
You're talking about the flare-ups, and sorry, I knocked the power on my mixer, and I've got no batteries in it, so it just went goodbye. So you're talking about, you noticed that you're getting flare-ups.
And I've there's always been times when I've had eczema flares, but I felt like I was able to recalibrate in a reasonable amount of time and trust into that. I mean, we could do a whole podcast about eczema. I don't want that to be the focus necessarily today, but that just went in a whole new different direction, and it threw me a curveball that I was just not ready for. And so that, like, in with the perimenopause felt like a lot. So it's taken. I actually did a little post on my Instagram the other day, just saying let's normalise taking time out just to rest and reset, and that it might take longer than you think, because it's taken me about a year. I feel great today, but I've been on that evolution myself, and taking knowledge from people that I needed their wisdom from.
Yeah, sure.
Not just go, I can do this myself. So yeah, I guess we all sometimes need a bit of hand-holding and support and specialist support.
I was chatting about this with Rob Chapman at the Wellbeing Festival, a great guy, and we were talking about asking for help, and I was talking about us blokes as well, you know, in particular. So like sometimes it's hard to say yes to help, or you know, when I was going through everybody saw my whining on Facebook. I was going through a terrible time, right? And lots of people reached out, and I didn't accept the help from either of them. June Meager got in touch with me. She's like the Dawn of Wellbeing, and it's because I didn't feel like I felt like I was a burden, and I couldn't listen to what's going on around me because everything was so frantic. But you know, you talk about like sometimes you have to stop and listen and look around you. I feel like that's kind of like today. That's kind of what life is like today compared to when I was younger, or a few years ago when everything was so frantic. Yeah. Now we're listening to our kids. We're listening to our bodies. We're listening to our mental health and what's around us. And I feel like that's one of the most positive things about life today, I think. Yeah,
there's a lot more conversations that happen.
Yeah.
And it is a topic that's talked about a lot more.
Yeah.
But I think we've still got a way to go. There's still a way to go for a lot of people to fear. I don't know whether it's a safety thing or just that they can open up and get the support and help that want.
There's a bit of a regression as well, especially with guys on like social media and
it seems to be snowballing. It really does, and it's kind of this misogynist, and also like, it's not good to cry or be weak anymore. And that was like something I thought we'd turned the corner on. I thought we were like, oh, it's okay to like cry, or to be gay, or to be vibrant, like you said, or to be vulnerable. Like now, people are picking chunks at it, and it's like it's all over social media. And I thought we've gone past that. We seem to be regressing back a bit.
Yeah.
Weird, right?
It is. And I think you've just got to look after your own bubble. I think once you are, like, when you're connected into, like, your purpose and your why and why you're doing things, and you know that you make a difference like this, it's like just drown out the noise and don't even listen to what other people say. Because there will always be somebody who doesn't like what you're doing.
Oh, I was talking about this at the beginning of the episode with Claire from Colours from Shrewsbury. I did like a bit of an intro, and I asked people what the pros and cons of being a creative are, and somebody, I think it was Moose Cooper, mentioned haters. People that hate you. Yeah. I love that. I love the idea that there are people out there that don't like what I do. I do it for those guys because I want, if I can make one person that hates me love me, I feel like...
No, don't do it, John. You
I feel like if I could turn them... Because I'm generally like, I love making the content anyway. I'm always going to be like this cheerful, chappy...
Yeah, but do it for the people who love you. Don't do it for, like, just ignore the haters. Because they thrive off finding something that ticks over their angst, and they just feel like they've got their own issues, let's face it. They need some kind of support and love and healing in ways that we don't know about, but they thrive off that because it feeds them in a way that they can get some satisfaction.
A lot of self-reflection with people like that as well. They're kind of like, oh yeah, they'll take the mickey out of something you're doing because they really want to do it secretly. They kind of like, you know what I mean, they don't have the balls to do it.
Yeah,
like,
there's all sorts of things going on for them, but I think, yeah, they don't have a place in...
No. And to open up your own business and create your own cause and your own path of something that you want to do is very much wearing your heart on your sleeve. You know, you've gone from Breathe Dance Yoga and yoga to this Vibrant Life.
Yeah.
What's that like, starting again, rolling the dice again, showing people what you're doing? Have you had to put a lot of thought into it? Do you overthink things, or how's that for you?
Total overthinker. It's been a process, and I feel like I'm just about to step into it all now, really. I am quite, I don't want to say multi-talented, I'm multi-skilled. So what I've been able to do in this period of time, whilst I've been recalibrating myself on a health level, is lean into my freelance work. So, like, teaching for other people, for, you know, other gyms, studios, for... I work with, like, Shropshire Inclusive Dance as a dance practitioner. So there's lots of different places that I'm not employed by, but, like, on a freelance basis, I go and teach for them. So I've been able to lean into that without overthinking, like, what am I creating, what am I sending out, and what...
That's like your vocation. That's kind of like what you're born to do. Like that is like your bread and butter, if you like. That's like breathing to you, isn't it? Okay.
But where I'm at now is I'm getting ready to, create my signature one-to-one program. Sorry, I'm going to cough.
Yeah, you can cough.
And really begin to drive the impact that I know I can make through this Vibrant Life. And there's a lot of women over 40, a lot of women in, like, really in leadership roles who have to stay there. Like, they are really important for the world to stay in those leadership roles. And on a holistic level, I know I can support them with, I can pull in so many different modalities now to really help them. Whether that's like on a more of a coaching level, or whether it's breathing to, like, really make sure their day is calm, whether it's a yoga program, whether it's bringing in house music and dance to lift their energy and the vibrancy. Like, there's something that can be crafted for each and every woman I meet, but to support them in what they're doing to make their big impact and their difference.
I think it's difficult to be a leader, for sure. I've tried it, and there's some things I was good at with, some things I wasn't good at. Like, it's really hard to be responsible for so many things, and also to also come across as a bit of a hard ass sometimes, because like you've got to get a job done, you know. And I feel like when it comes to being that kind of person, there's got to be a lot of doubt. There's got to be a lot of things you take home with you don't realize you're taking home. Tension, maybe worries. I mean, I always wonder what's more dangerous: going in like a bull in the china shop and like, oh, I am this and this, or having self-doubt. What's the most dangerous thing? Because like one thing can lead to one type of problems, and one thing can lead to another, and it's finding that balance, isn't it?
Yeah, and I think it's all right to fail.
Yes.
I think even I'm not a bull in a china shop. I'm probably a little bit more of the overthinker, like, oh, will this work? But I'm trying to step into that fearless element of going, if it doesn't work out, if it fails, I learn a lesson from it, and then I have an opportunity to recalibrate and do something different. So so that's where my head is at with it, and I'm excited now to move this vibrant life forwards into like what it can be. And really, really make an impact. But I'm also, at the same time as that, I'm also stepping into a role at Motum with Chris Skitt. And we've been working together since about 2018, I want to say.
Okay.
Hi,
Chris.
He headed up the Love to Live gym at the time, and I came in as a yoga teacher. So we've always had a really good working relationship. And then as he set up this really lovely space upon Vanguard Way called Motum, where he's doing his physiotherapy practice, you'll have to chat to him about all the kind of different
Chris, you're welcome on the biscuit anytime. Get on there.
I'm going to be heading up the Restore program, so yoga, meditation, Pilates, and I'll be the lead teacher, and I'll be bringing other teachers in. So that'll be a really amazing little side to what I'm doing as well.
I feel like when it comes to yoga, exercise, or just a way to express energy, so I've got this amazing relationship with HitSona. How's it going, guys? I hope you're great. My HIT class, they're great people. I go 2 to 3 times a week. High intensity training, and for a pudding like me, it's been really good because I'm losing weight. I feel stronger in myself. My structure feels like I can sit upright and I can walk. And I blasted up the hill on the way up here today. But when I was working with the Russ Sleeper team, I'd struggle up that hill, and I was like, I feel like it's doing really, really good. But what I tend to do is I take all my negativity, everybody's pissed me off during the week, and I think about that thing, and I put it into my exercise. Yeah. And it's they get worried about me sometimes. They're kind of like, are you okay? I'm like, yes, I'm fine. And just because I'm pushing myself too hard. Do you do that? Do you ever feel like when it comes to do you teach that? I mean, when it comes to yoga and dance, is it okay to take your negativities and breathe through them, or do you have to think positively? Do you have to center yourself?
Well, no, it's about acknowledging them. You might not, within the yoga class, you try not to like be in your thoughts. And the thing is, when you are moving, it's a somatic practice. And so as you move, when you've got like stress and thoughts, there's all these little chemical components to it that are in your body. And so if you sit, like if you think, let's take an example of anger. If you have been cut up by someone at a junction or a roundabout and somebody's almost caused a crash, and you just feel this rage and this anger, and then you are sat in that car and you don't get out of that car and that anger is still in your body, you're literally sat in your own chemical soup. And that's, you've got these neurotransmitters that have been sent out, it's in your blood, excuse me. It's literally like in your body. And so when you move, your blood flow, your lymph flow, your energy systems within the body, they start to like shift and move that out. So you don't always need to be in this awareness of how you feel. As you move, there's a shift in how you feel. So your thoughts aren't always true. and they're based in like past experiences and your belief system. So what we actually want to do is create a little space between them, so you're not constantly on loop with them. There's a pause and there's a space, and you can move. And as you move and you reset, your body gets rid of the cortisol that it's building up, you're breathing properly, you perhaps are just, if you're doing exercise that's like dance or something like that, you're going to have a release of endorphins as well. You just recalibrate yourself. You don't necessarily need to go, I'm releasing all this shit today. Although that might be what happened. That might be what actually happens. But there is a reason why people like float out of a yoga class, because it's that movement through the body, the directing the focus of the mind, the focus on the breath that unifies everything and allows you to actually step away from that crazy thought, and then when you look back, let's look at that example of somebody cutting you up and creating anger within you. If we turn the focus on that other person, they might have a child in the car that is really needing urgent attention, and they just don't even think, they're like getting to the hospital. And then we flipped it and we can go, oh, actually I can let go of that. So
It's like meandering around it like a river rather than smashing through it. Like you go, okay, let's just
and like having an awareness, like no one's that out to get you. Everyone's got their own.
That is
stuff
something
going
I am
on.
trying to learn, is not to take the universe. I say the universe because I don't want to name names, but like I don't take things too personally, because I'm kind of like what happened to me was so like it was systematic failure across every aspect of my life. So I was meant to start a new job, so I handed my notice in at council, and then on the last day of my notice, this job, they withdrew the job offer. And it was because I think the HR woman was just being spiteful, to be honest, because I was kind of like, well, where's my start date? Where's this, that, and the other? And she was like, well, we're going to refute. Anyway, that happened. I then started doing my mental health assessments because I found out I got PTSD and childhood trauma. Still waiting for appointments and stuff. So the first day of my mental health assessment, which was very, very touching, very hard, my car broke down on the busiest roundabout in Shrewsbury. So I had no job, no car. My mental health was frayed. And I just felt like the whole universe was attacking me. So this is why I was kind of like angry and stuff. Whereas now I've got a good job now. Yeah, my car's still poorly, but we're working around it with my wife. And my mental health is at a point now where I'm starting to more accept things, more accept that I'm not broken. Like there are ways I can maneuver around life and sort of... I found out that the podcast is my therapy. It is what I need, because I wasn't doing anything at the time. I was kind of like, I need something.
Yeah.
So like, I feel like I've accepted what's going on. Yeah. I've accepted things rather than being angry. And I think that's what you're talking about. It's kind of like, I've learned to move around it. I've learned to, I know it's not yoga, but it's like, that's my process. Is kind of like, I'm not going to be angry at the world anymore. It is what it is.
Yeah.
I've got an amazing wife and family. I've got a house. I've got a good job. I can do this. I can speak to the world.
Appreciation of what's there in front of you. And it doesn't mean you're not allowed to get angry. Like human emotions are there for a reason. They're usually there to indicate what's the word I'm looking for? Danger or something that we need to change. Like if you feel like scared or anything like that, that is an indication.
Listen to your instincts.
Yeah. So they're not a bad thing. It's just if they're attached to a thinking process, that you might want to uncouple. Like, what's the emotion? Where is it? And like, where's it coming from? And identifying what it's coming from, and is there a reason why it's there? Can you pick it into that? And sometimes you don't even need to do that. It's not about disengaging and going, I don't feel emotion. But are your emotions overtaking and making you ride out your day, rather than you going, I feel like this right now. Okay, right, it's because of that. Okay, I did that. They did that. Okay, that's a pattern I've seen before. Fair enough. Okay, I'm going to let that go. And then I'm going to do a walk around in nature for half an hour to see if I can, recalibrate myself.
That's something that I think I need to do more of is getting out of nature and stuff. I'm going on holiday next week, going to Turkey, which is I'm really excited about. And this is kind of like I'm really looking forward to holiday. That's the thing I'm looking forward to. And after that, I'm going to start making there are changes I'm really looking forward to implementing into my life. And getting out into nature is one of those things. I want to go on family walks. I want to renew our National Trust cards and get out there and explore them.
Is the best.
Yeah, it's such a great place. I mean, and Powis Castle as well. That's a great place to go for walks. There are so many things you can do with that National Trust card. It's like something to take for granted, I think. We did take it for granted. In fact, it ran out. We didn't realise. Do you know what I mean? So that's something I really want to implement into my life. And as well, the Biscuit Guy, that podcast needs to get going. I've done a couple of interviews there. That's more of a podcast where I can be a bit more sweary and a bit more myself. And do you know what I mean? I feel like you need to have that sometimes. You need to vent, don't you?
Yeah. Definitely get out into nature. It's there's such a calming effect of it, and there's something in nature that we see with as the eyes see it and the brain kind of sees all the greenery, the leaves. It has a real deep calming effect. So it's important. And we're in Shrewsbury in Shropshire. It's so amazing.
We've got the Shropshire Hills just right on our door.
Even just a walk through the quarry. Perfect.
Yeah, you're right. And the Reebrook is just phenomenal. We go there quite a lot, me and my son.
Yeah.
It's a bit of bonding time. We'll go and I remember during the salmonella scare, the river. Timmy's like swimming in the river, and some woman walks past and she's like Marge Simpson, and I was kind of like, oh yeah, that's the thing. Anyway, and also I want to talk about sort of perimenopause and menopause.
Yeah.
Do you think there's enough out there to sort of help guide women through it?
Yes and no. There is, but it's so individual for everybody. Like my journey is different from some of my friends, and I think the fact that I've got coupled in with that eczema, it has been a very different journey. But I think I knew it was coming, and I am an avid reader, and I'm a researcher, and I with everything that I do and teach. Before I teach it, you can guarantee I've read at least 3 or 4 books on it, done a course on it, really delved into it. And so I'd read a book because I was having trouble with my periods, and so I read a book called Fix Your Period. And when I got to the end of it, and I was like, all right, that's all. Yeah, okay, I can implement some of this stuff. And it literally said, however, if you're closer to 40, this could be a sign that you are entering perimenopause. And I was like, oh, well, I'm 38, so. In fact, I might have already been 40. So I was like, okay. So then I got another book, and as I was reading it, I was like, oh, this makes sense. But I wasn't ready for the mental health impact, because I felt like I'd got a pretty good basis. Eczema's given me lots of resilience and strength and dips in mental health, but tools to navigate it. But there's a real lackluster, can't be bothered with anything, anxiety that creeps in pretty slowly, and you don't realise you're in the middle of it until you go, what's going on?
So is this sort of planning a busy day and going, oh my God, what have I done that for?
Yeah. Or just going, or thinking, I just don't want to do anything. My sleep, my sleep was awful.
Broken sleep.
I have got my sleep back, and if you can do anything, it's getting your sleep back. And there's been lots of different things that I've done in that time, educating myself and reading up on it. What is the actual physiological things that are going on? Understanding that has been helpful. I'm on HRT. I read up on it thoroughly before I went on it, but I went to my doctor and she was really understanding, and that made a difference. But there's a little bit of tweaking that goes on with that, and then the nutrition element as well, and doing lots of different things around my sleep to help me sleep again.
I bought a book that I'm going to start reading. It's called How to Cure Insomnia in a Week. I've had insomnia since I was 14. Some things work. Some things work for like years, and some things stop working. One of the things that worked for years for me was thinking of a blackboard. Just think of a blackboard, nothing else on it. It kind of pushes all your thoughts out. But then that blackboard becomes mundane. and then I thought of a boat. Sort of on a lake. That worked for a little bit.
Yeah.
But then I'd find myself getting cold because water makes me feel cold. You know, there's certain things. There was a trip I went to Ireland. I spent a lot of time in Ireland when I was a kid. My family lives there. But like, there's one particular trip with college where we went walking through the mountains up before this river all the way up to the top of the mountain. Think about that trip because of how peaceful it was. You talk about nature. That's really important. That works for a little bit. But I think with my... I have night shift anxiety, so I'll come back from a night shift and I'll be like, right, sleep, and that's really hard. Yeah. So it comes back. So I'm going to read that book and I'll get back to your listeners and let you know how that goes. But yeah, I love that you are going out and researching these things yourself. Because that's really important. Are you going to implement some of that with this Vibrant Life? Is that what's going to...
I mean, I'll certainly touch on it, and I am not going to be putting myself out there as a perimenopause expert by any means. I have my own lived experience that I can draw upon and like have as an example of things that have worked for me. But I'm not a medical practitioner either, so I can't...
You can just say, this worked for me.
Yeah. And the nutrition element, I've got Claire from Guts and Grit, who you probably should speak to as well. Very knowledgeable. And she's really helped me with my nutrition. So there's lots of different things, and it's not come from one person. But supplements like magnesium have really been helpful. Up in my protein. I didn't really think I was having less than what I should have been, but way less than I should have been. So getting that up has made a difference as well. And just looking at my, how I live as well. Like I probably have a fairly holistic lifestyle, but having a regular routine has helped with my sleep. And I've recently got a grounding sheet. Have you heard of one of them?
No.
Okay, so grounding or earthing is where you...
I know what earthing is. So bare feet on the ground.
Yeah, bare feet on the ground. So a grounding sheet allows you to do that whilst you sleep. So it's got little silver thread running through it, and you put it into your electrical socket. You don't turn it on, but it connects into the grounding. And then as you lie on this sheet, it has all the benefits of you standing with your feet on the earth. So it reduces inflammation and it can help with you sleeping.
For those that don't know what we're talking about, grounding is like a subconscious thing that we have all inside of all of us. Like when you go bare feet on the ground, I don't know what it is. It's
like an electron thing.
Yeah.
It's like your body's electronic... what's the right word I'm looking for? But we all have this, like static electricity. You've got electrons and protons, and so as you ground, you allow those. I'm probably going to give you the wrong information here, so look this up, guys. Yeah. Don't listen to me. Yeah. But you release that, the static electricity, but it allows you then to be in coherence with the Earth energy. In terms of the frequency, it's an electromagnetic. We know it's electromagnetic. We've got kind of the North and South Pole, so we've all got that element within us, and it helps to then regulate your blood pressure, reduce inflammation. So there's multiple health benefits. We're so far away with living with the Earth. This
we're on concrete or hardwood all the time, or in a shoe.
And I think you can actually ground on concrete. I've got a feeling that you can. It's a conductive.
Oh, okay.
So there's ways of doing it, and I think even putting your hand on a radiator can help you do that as well. But as you're walking around in rubber-soled shoes, you build up this static electricity. That's how I'm interpreting it. But
I always thought it was a mental health thing. I always thought it was it's just me caveman, this ground, this good, this nature.
No, it's an actual... if you were to hold a meter that was reading your electrical output, as you put your bare feet on the earth, it would go down.
Oh, that's fantastic. That's so fascinating. It really is, isn't it? You just don't know what we're picking up as we're walking around, whether it's... what kind of energies and stuff. And it's really important to be in tune with that, isn't it? And that's, I guess, where folks like yourself come in, you know, so like, how can we better our lives with something that you must get so many people come to you that know nothing about yoga, nothing about dance, that are just grow as you're teaching them, and that must be nice to see, right?
Yeah, and I think that's where I miss the point a lot of the times. I've probably got such a bank of wisdom and knowledge about these modalities now that I take it for granted, and so I need to get into the practice of sharing all these different elements that I know that can be useful to people in just little snippets, and I think that's where I need to like focus my attention in like my social media and things like that, because I just want to tell you all in one go. And I want it to, but seeing people come to my class, I'll tell you a story about one woman in a moment, and making that progress, whether it's just more openness in their body or just a sense of like presence, like just being present here now in the moment. If you're in your thoughts, you're either in the past or in the future. You're not here. So being in the present moment.
Or stuck on your phone.
Yeah. I had 2 weeks off my phone on holiday. In fact, I had a month off. I had the last week of my holiday, not off my phone, but off social media. It was the best thing ever. And then when I came back, I was like, I'm not picking it up until like I'm at the end of the month, and I did a whole month, and it felt really good. I'm back on it now, and I can really notice the habits I've got around it. But I'm also in like that business zone where I'm trying to kind of set up what I'm about to do. So there's a bit of just going on and researching and a few other things, but I will get back to having a bit more structure around it. But just going back to one lady that I spoke to a few weeks ago, and she said, "Oh, Kat, I always think about you, because if it wasn't for you, I would never have known I had a tumour in my stomach, because because of the different postures, you lie face down." And she said, "I never ever did that. So I would never have known, I would never have felt like the pressure, I would never have gone and get it checked out, I would never have had it removed, a watermelon-sized tumour."
Wow, that's incredible. You saved someone's life.
Quite possibly. And there's been other things like that, like back pain. Has been, somebody said that they'd really struggled with back pain, nothing had helped, and then after a few yoga sessions, they could really see the difference.
For Hitsona, they do coach's choice sessions, and there's a bit of yoga in that as well, like the downward dog and things like that, and I'd never done that before, and it felt so silly sticking my butt up in the air and my face down. But you come out of it, and like I said, your posture feels so much stronger, and it's mad, I feel like yoga, I've been saying this since I've been recording the Biscuit, but I feel like yoga is something that I could definitely incorporate into my day, my routine, because of the breathing aspect, I think, because of the sort of focus. I feel like that's kind of what I need, because I'm always worrying about what's going to happen tomorrow. What did I say yesterday? What did I do? It's good to, like you said, be in the present and sort of meander through it like a stream or a river. I love that concept of just being able to just be with it.
And then after that, when you're kind of anchoring yourself into the present, you let go of the urgency as well. People love to be urgent. Oh, urgent response needed. No, you don't. There's no urgency, and you can then have a little buffer where you respond to people instead of react, and it just allows you just that buffer zone. It doesn't make you a perfect person. I know lots of people go, "Oh, yoga's saved me, and it makes me so different." It will enhance your ability to respond differently.
Yeah.
But it's not necessarily going to change you into somebody completely different. But it's a tool that you can use that will make your days a little bit calmer, a little bit better, and your body a little bit more receptive, and you in tune with your body. I
feel like when I try and find talk about anchoring ourselves to, I think more the things that make me feel more positive and happy. I'm gonna have a cough now. Dry air today, it must be. I don't know. But there are certain things I find to sort of keep me sort of happy, put me in my happy place. I've asked people today where their happy place is, but like music for me is so like super important. It's like it is a conduit between life and reality. Like that is for me. So I have this bit of obsession with Lil Dicky at the moment. Is if you've ever seen the show Dave on Disney Plus, if you haven't, go and watch it. It's about this rapper who's in tune with his more sort of geeky sort of himself. He's not like this rapper that's kind of like, yeah, golden bitches and cars and stuff. He's kind of like, I'm a tall Jew with a Jew throw, and I'm kind of like, he's kind of like, he's redefining what hip hop is anyway. I watch the show, love his music, and I've got this one album I'm just listening to all the time now because it's just like, that is my happy place. That's where I need to be.
Yeah.
And I'll be obsessed with that now for the next 3 months probably, but that's kind of where I need to be. Do you have a happy place? Is there somewhere where you go to when you're? I know it's easy for you. I say it's easy for you. That's kind of judgy, but like you got breathing and yoga and dance. But is there somewhere specific where you go to mentally or physically?
The key thing for me is house music and dance. Like if I've, in fact, I've got a little playlist that I've just been creating. It's going to be it's going to be a free download called Rise and Lead. I haven't quite got the rest of the name in my head, but it's something about vibrant morning practices for female leaders. And I've just created a 10-minute playlist, and I tested it out the other morning, and it really just shifts you. Like house music for me, I'm a 90s, I was a teenager in the 90s. I grew up clubbing as a teenager, and so... But before that, like at birthday parties, I remember winning like a dance competition at this birthday party when I was 8. But it was all house, like that beginning of house music. And it was like, it just made me feel so alive. So being on the dance floor, not in, and bearing in mind, I've got a dance degree, I've worked as a secondary school teacher, teaching GCSE, A-level, dance and performing arts, where there's a lots of choreography and it's artistry. But for me, like bringing it back, I guess it's that like primitive response, like where you hear the music, the lyrics in some of the house music is really spiritual.
It's almost mantra-ish, isn't it? Like
yeah, but it's about connecting into your power. It's about like releasing what doesn't serve you, and like standing up for yourself or standing up for others or feeling the love or all of that. Like when you actually let yourself kind of be lifted by the lyrics as well, and then the tempo and there's scientific studies on how that actually lifts and releases dopamine. So a dance in the kitchen with house music is my happy place, and I love it even more if it's in a field with a load of other people, or on a dance floor in a sweaty club. Like all of that feels like each of those elements where there's nothing choreographed. It's me releasing whatever my body wants to do and having a really good dance and listening to the music. That makes such a difference.
That's beautiful. I was in the car yesterday listening, both me and my son, who's 9, singing Pork and Beans to the top of our top from Weezer. That's a good, happy place to be at. But yeah.
And music's so important. Like I love how you are just talking about you and your son. And what's really beautiful now is that my daughter's 13 and I get to watch her get so involved in music. She's a massive K's fan. And they were at Albert's Shed not long ago. And she's been to see him so many times, but her love of this music and getting into it is so beautiful to watch. I'm never going to go, oh, you don't want to listen to that, listen to my stuff. But between me and her dad, she's got this kind of quite good musical upbringing, I think. But she's finding her own way with it. But what she gets from her bands is probably what I was getting from my Ministry of Sound album when I was 14. You know, it's got such a powerful it's just so powerful, and it can really anchor you and help you through. Like the lyrics might help you through something, but it gives you like a place to let go and release and feel like either somebody's just in your head and they're listening to your thoughts, and they can give you some words of
part
advice.
of it as well. You can feel part of it. Like, I go to Wu-Tang as an example. This is a weird thing, but the Wu-Tang Clan as a thing, right? To understand it is like, yes, they released the Wu-Tang Clan albums, but they all went away and released their own albums under their own labels, what have you, but they all came back together as the Wu-Tang Clan every time. So to understand that is, when you listen to their music, when you've got those albums as their individual artists or as a groups, you're a part of that. Like, it feels like you're a part of the group. Like, do you know what I mean? And I think that's why that was important to a lot of people. You know, there's a lot of people that love me and Timmy. I've been listening to Wu-Tang with Timmy since he was probably too young to be listening to that kind of music, but he loves that. You know, I was going to say so. Yeah, so the way I like, music and the universe coming together, there's a great example actually, is that I went to watch Harry Mack live, great freestyle rapper, love him, he's the best, but I found the support act better than him because I like watching him on YouTube, but on stage it was kind of like, wow, okay, this isn't the same. There was too many T's came on stage, two rappers, they're a bit like the UK Beastie Boys, they were absolutely insane, like, I love them, and they went into my playlist, right? Then at Albert's Shed, I went to watch Lack of Afro, a great band. They reminded me of Jamiroquai a little bit. They're kind of kind of music. And so I started listening to their new album, Square One, and on there is a song called Amigos with too many T's. So my universe just came together. And it's amazing. Look for Lack of Afro, Amigos. It is one of the most enlightening. It's so fun and so open, and it makes me feel so vibrant when I'm listening to it. I get excited now talking about it. Do you know what I mean? That's what music does to me.
Yeah, and that's it. And everybody should be able to have that with some element of music that you can go, right, I'm going to stick that on 5 minutes. Like, everybody's got 5 minutes. And no one can tell me they don't have 5 minutes that they can prioritise themselves.
I've spoken to authors before.
And put that song on, and you can just have a bop or a groove or whatever you want to do.
Absolutely.
Like, it can work.
Absolutely. I've spoken to authors before, and I've gone, I don't have much time to read. You know, I'm doing this, and they're like, there's always time to read. There's always time to read. Don't give
I
me that.
get through so many books. I've always got time to read.
I'm reading a couple of books at the moment, which is good. I'm actually reading again, which is fantastic. So what we need to do is we need to explain to the listeners what Vibrant Life is going to be. What do they expect if they were going to look for it now, and to be a part of what you're putting together?
Okay, so I am heading into a slightly different era with it, where I am aiming to work with women over 40 who are leaders in whatever it is they do. Now, people like leader might be they're the leader of their family, or it could be they're the leader of a 100,000 what's the word I'm looking for? You see, this is a perimenopause thing, not remembering words. Heading up an organisation that's got 100,000 people. They might be a director, a CEO, they might be an executive, they might be running their own business, an entrepreneur, but they are stepping into that leadership role. And they are also just needing that holistic support, whether it's a physical practice, whether it's something like having playlists and having a dance, whether it's coming away on retreat. And I've run a couple of retreats, and I'll be coming back to those. Those are really transformative. But where I'm heading, because I've got quite a busy timetable at the minute, I'm going to be heading up the teaching team at Motum and bringing my essence of what that Restore programme will be for people. But in terms of just this Vibrant Life, one of the key things I'll be working on first of all is a one-to-one package of 6 weeks support, and then from there, hopefully into next year, I'll be opening up some group programmes, and then we'll see from that point. But at this point, I'm going to be focusing on my one-to-ones.
You've got 1,000 followers on Facebook. Guys, give this Vibrant Life a follow.
Right? Got 2,500 on Instagram.
you know what I mean?
And I'm right. So this is one of the things that I need to, because I've got my skill set, but I'm not necessarily a natural businesswoman.
Yeah, I got you.
Yeah, you feel me.
I'm not a good businesswoman either.
And so I went to a business festival the other week, and I've really spent this month just like upskilling in a few like business mindset and just a few things that I need to do. And whilst I have a profile on LinkedIn, it's probably from like 2008 or whenever it all began. And so my next step is to go in there and update everything. So that's in line with my Facebook and my Instagram.
I remember doing that about 3 years ago into my LinkedIn. I'm going to put all my credentials, all my logos for my podcast. I created a LinkedIn for the Shrewsbury Biscuit separately. Done nothing with it since.
That's all right, but it's there now and it's updated. Like mine literally is probably from when I was teaching at a college as a performing arts lecturer. So there's a real disconnect with what I'm doing now.
I scuppered my own ship. What I did, because with the Shrewsbury Biscuit, I went to seasons. I went to Alpha, Bravo, Charlie, right? And I thought that'd be really great, because with my old job, I had to kind of do 10 episodes, whereas now I've got like these 4 days, I'm 4 on 4 off. I can actually create content every week, so I'm moving back to it. But I looked at my SEO. Now, SEO is where names run across the internet, and they've got to align with your website, your content, and your social media, so that when somebody Googles you, you're like more likely to come up the top of Google, right? And that's how SEO works. Now, my listenership has gone down. I was like, why are we losing all these listeners? And I looked at my podcast names, and I'd labeled them TSPP, season Charlie, and then the episode. I was like, that's not the Shrewsbury Biscuit, is it, Alex? So I've had to go... So I've had to go into yesterday I spent about 2 hours on my host, which is where I will upload my podcast, and renamed everything the Shrewsbury Biscuit. I was like, why I've got no listeners? Because nobody can find me.
Yeah. It's all those little things.
Yeah.
And what I also go is I can't do everything. I can streamline as best I can and do the best within the parameters. And until I've got a team behind me, it is just me. Like everything I've done so far, apart from like a little bit of help with a few different things, it's me. It's me on my Instagram. It's me on my Facebook. It's me doing the emails. It's me creating the courses and all the back end. And Some people might go, well, that's silly, Kat. You need someone else to do that so you can focus in on what you're doing. But there is to know all of that and have that understanding of it before it gets passed over, I think is really, I like to have that. I like to know it so then I can pass it over to someone else.
It's really
eventually.
hard. I feel like it's really hard not to rely on people in a really sassy way, but in a way that, like I was mentioning before, like being a leader and being assertive and being dominant and not being dominant. That's a word, really.
You don't have to be dominant.
No. That's the wrong word. But look, being assertive for sure, saying I need this doing by this certain time. I was really hard. I was really not good at that, especially with you, Suck. I had a whole team. You remember what you Suck? UK, US, and I'd be like, I need this podcast by this time. What's going on here? Why are you not on this show? We need to be here at this certain time. Tom Bruno, get that joint out your mouth. We were about to be speaking to a politician. Like it was just like these crazy things I'd be talking about, and I wasn't very good at it. So like when I think, I've got to rely on other people, I don't want to be like, yo, where's the thing that I asked for? Do you know what I mean? I kind of hide away from that. That's weird, right?
Yeah, but that's something you can work through.
I'm going to take a selfie.
You can always move through that, and I think it's just a way of, it's just a language and a communication thing. Like you need certain things happening for things to work.
My good friend Eric Fluger was wonderful. He's an amazing artist in Florida. Just missed the hurricane, thank God. He packed up his whole house. He had like $500,000 worth of art in his house. He had to pack it all up and make sure it was safe. But just missed him, though, thank God. And when all that was happening, we were doing a show together on USUC, and he's a wise man. Like he's been through some stuff himself recently, but he messaged me and goes, "Alex, you are a leader. People look at you for answers." He's like, nobody wants to hear you bitching. And I was like, nail on the head. You've got to put yourself in that moment, haven't you? Like you said.
And it's good that you have someone who will recognise that and go, just step up into it. But sometimes for people, no one comes and like ceremoniously gifts you this role. You just have to step up.
Yeah, exactly.
You just have to step into it and be there and then embrace the new qualities, do some like upskill, whatever it is, and then lean into it. And no one questions that, but also no one goes, guess what? You are now this next level. Up you go. You've just got to allow yourself to evolve into it.
Exactly. And I was up till 2:30 in the morning, the other morning, getting a podcast ready for Shrewsbury Comic Con. It was a two-parter. I didn't realise it was going to be a two-parter, which is why it was, because I thought, I can whack this out at 7 o'clock. And I was like, oh my God, I've got like 2.5 hours worth of content here. It's going to take a long time. But then I was thinking, like, no one's going to sit there and go, oh, well done, Alex, for staying up till 2 o'clock in the morning to get this out. They'll be like, where's the podcast that you promised us? That's the thing that people will be asking. Do you know what I mean? So no one's going to do it for me. You've got to get out there and do it yourself. I'm really proud that I did that, actually.
Well done.
So, again, accepting responsibility and giving yourself that gratitude for doing it and having the strength for doing it. I think gratitude is such an important thing.
Yeah.
You've got to be grateful for everything around you and accept that, things happen for a reason and there are good things and bad things in life,
Yeah. I'm on my phone screen. I have a lovely photo of me and my kids and my husband, but across it, I used a bit of Canva, and across it I put everything is always working out for me. And it's my little mantra, like even when it feels like things are not going right, in the back of my mind, I'm like, well, everything's always working out for me, so it's got to go this way for the best result to come out of it, because you might be forcing yourself down a path. And it's a little bit like what you said earlier, like this job that you were supposed to start and then you didn't. It could have been the worst job in the world.
Yeah.
But you're now in a role that I presume that you're liking. You seem like you're...
I just bumped into a colleague upstairs, actually, and she was like, what are you doing now? I was like, I'm not going to say the name, I don't want to get in trouble, but I'm in a factory, which is a mad thing to do after 9.5 years as a support worker. But I feel like I've burned out of all my excess compassion and empathy.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm done now. Mm-hmm. I need to look after myself.
Yeah.
So I got a job purposely that I can go to, absolutely smash, and come home and not worry about.
Yeah.
So I'm in a factory. I'm getting dirty. I'm climbing up down ladders. I'm lifting heavy things. It's amazing. I love it. I walk like 8 to 10 kilometers a day.
Yeah.
I absolutely, genuinely, as a young lad, I was on my induction, and I looked at him. I was like, "This is the best job I've had in a long time." And he looked at me like, "What?" And I was like, you don't understand. Like, it's so mentally draining going out there and doing what I've been doing for the last few years.
And that's from your perception.
Yeah.
Like how different people's perception are. Like the fact that you can see that for a place where you can just go and be and do all the things, and then all your empathy and compassion can be turned inwards to you and your family.
Loving it.
Ace.
Loving
Absolutely
it.
ace.
Like, it's hard because I work the nights and my lad's like, oh, I miss my dad during the
Yeah,
nights.
that's
But
tough.
these are sacrifices, and the money's amazing. So, I mean, I'm not going to complain about that.
Yeah.
There you go. That's it.
And like if everything had carried on that other path, you don't know where you would have been
Exactly.
right now.
Exactly.
So like
Very
you
grateful.
can just let all that go and be in appreciation for where you are right now.
And this is where I'm going to circle it back before we end, is back to Loop Fest when
Yes.
you saw me. And I was like, I didn't know where I was. I was kind of like, me and Jimmy are talking about how we can sort of centre things with the biscuit and Loop Fest, and I think we're going to be at Loop Fest in a massive way next year, in a huge way. So just keep your eyes peeled for that, guys. But like, it's kind of hard when I write a plan, and then when I get there, because of the mechanics behind something like Loop Fest, it's hard to stick to that plan. It's hard to know where you're going to go, right? What I'd done is I'd written out to certain guests, performers during that festival, and said, I'm going to be here at this certain time, I'll be here at this certain time, I'll be at the Scribes, the Great Leslie Band, a couple of others that I'd organised pre Loop Fest. And that was fine. But then I found myself kind of like, I'd just done an interview that I wasn't supposed to do, and I was kind of like, what time is it? There's so many people, what's going to happen? Like, and then I saw you, and you were like, hi, Alex. I was like, hi, Kat. And I was kind of like, do you know what I mean? I was kind of like, where am I? What am I doing?
Dazed and
Like,
confused.
do you remember? Like,
Yeah,
I was just,
yeah.
And that's like, I think that was more my social anxiety, because there's like lots of people looking at me, and kind of, there was like, I went backstage and people grabbed me for interview. It was amazing. I love doing that. Don't get me wrong, but my social anxiety sometimes gets the better of me. It kind of like hoodwinks me, jumps on me.
Yeah.
But once I got in the stride of it, I was like a pig in. I love that. It was so
you
good.
do such a good job.
Now things have happened the way they have. I feel like I can take on anything.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? The difference between now and then, if that happened to me now, my box breathing that I'm doing,
Yeah.
and my sort of appreciation of what I'm doing, and the gratitude that I'm in the position that I can be in. I'm backstage, and I wouldn't be able to do it without the biscuit, and I wouldn't be able to, you know what I mean? Like, that's where things are different now, I think.
Yeah, that's great. And what you are also showing is that even though you have like social anxiety, you have a way to move through it. Like, you don't go, I have social anxiety, it stops me. You're going, I sometimes struggle with it, but I know I can move through it. And that's wonderful, because it also shows that you can have things that might feel like they stall you and slow you down, but it doesn't have to fully stop you. There are ways to move through it.
I think you're one of the few people that's actually come face to face with socially angst, Alex. Like, it's not, I'm a completely different person on it. It's mad. But now I feel like I can get through it. It is part of me. Yeah. And I think that's because of understanding things I've spoken to with these mental health assessments I've been to, and understanding where that comes from.
Yeah.
Yeah. This organisation with PTSD doesn't go very well. And that's kind of what stopped me on that day. It's kind of like I'd gone off my track a little bit, and I was kind of panicking. So, yeah, it is what it is.
Yeah, but weren't the scribes brilliant?
They were amazing. In fact, so let's go back to that. This is the last thing we're going to talk about. I asked you people where your happy place is. And I asked the scribes, actually, because I was chatting to them this morning. They were like, yo, Alex, we're coming back to Shrewsbury. And I was like, I'm in Turkey. But what I did is I've given them a shout out. Is that I'm releasing this after the fact, but they are going to be at Shrewsbury, at the Albert Shed Shrewsbury on the 25th of October. Which,
I'm hoping to be there.
Yeah, you're going to be there. So they messaged me. When's this going out? I can't do the maths. If this is released before the 25th of October, make sure you go. But I said to them, I was like, well, while we're on here, where's your happy place? Where's your place where you feel zen? And he put probably reading a book, ideally at home.
Oh,
That's good.
See, books are brilliant because you just get, particularly fiction, it can just transport you to a place. And I read a book twice on holiday. It was so good, and it felt like I was like living out this movie in my head. It was brilliant. But yeah, reading's good.
I love that. One of my favorite places, because I love my podcast, I love watching podcasts and making podcasts. There's a podcast called Bad Friends with Andrew Santino and Bobby Lee. It's a bit naughty. But it's like, again, it feels like I'm with them. I'm kind of sat with them enjoying these jokes.
Yeah.
Terry Trickett from the Market, she's amazing. She put the beach at New Quay or Cardigan Bay. Karen Coton Phillips says, my home. Everybody likes to go home. And Rob Chapman, who I mentioned at the beginning of the podcast, the only place it can be within.
Yeah. If you can find the happiness within, wherever you are, you've got something you can always rely on.
Remind people where they can find you and follow you on social media.
So on social media, This Vibrant Life with Kat, that will take you to Instagram and Facebook. I'll hopefully, by the time this is released, have my LinkedIn. But also, if you head to Motum Shrews, I think it's on Facebook and Instagram as that. Again, by the time this is out, hopefully we'll have a class timetable up and running, and then you can come and do some yoga there, some Pilates, some meditation, and hopefully we'll have a few different things going on. If you're not in Shrewsbury, you're a female leader and you might be interested in some one-to-one support, then you can get in touch as well. I do have an email address, but I can't remember it off the top of my head. It's something like hello@thisvibrantlife.com, but I wouldn't go as far as to commit to that.
It's usually on your about page on your Facebook, right?
I wouldn't say that's updated just yet. There's a few different elements that I need to update, but the easiest and quickest way to get in touch is either DM me on Instagram or Facebook, and I will usually get back within 24 hours.
And Motum is spelled M-O-T-U-M as well.
Yeah, M-O-T-U-M.
Shrews.
It's a lovely space, a really big, open, airy space that we're hopefully now going to be filling with wonderful classes. And because I've been teaching in Shrewsbury for so long, I have a really good relationship with a lot of the teachers, and there's been some amazing teachers that have already got in touch who are interested to teach. So hopefully it'll be
to hit the ground.
an epic timetable that will then grow as well. I think, there might be like a smaller one as we release it, and then it'll build.
We'll have to come along. I'll have to definitely come along.
Yeah.
That'd be really good.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for meeting up with me
you.
today. Thank you to the guys at Shrewsbury Coffee House for letting us come and do this downstairs. It's a really nice place to come and sit and relax. So downstairs is my favourite thing. It's got plants. It's got lots of nice furniture and things to look at. It's just, and the mocha here is to die for as well.
Amazing.
So
Yeah.
make sure you
that's
check
really
out the
good.
Shrewsbury Coffee House. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Don't go anywhere, guys. I'll do a little outro. Say goodbye properly. Right, but thank you. Cheers.
Wow, what a great episode. I love Cat to Pieces. We could sit and talk there for hours. Honestly, that was really, really good. I want to say thank you to the guys from Shrewsbury Coffee House as well. Really, really cool place to record. I've recorded there a couple of times. I think one of my favourite times was speaking to the guys from Myth Stories. Do you remember those guys? I remember like setting up in the corner with a Tascam voice recorder, and it's literally like I was some sort of like reporter in the 70s. Just hit record on this thing, bang it on the table. Right, let's talk. It was so like, oh wow, it's crazy how far I've come. Right then, I did ask you guys about your places of Zen. I've had to scroll back to the 15th of October on Facebook to read your comments, but thank you so much for sending them in. Well, let's start off with Terry Trickett from the Market Hall in Shrewsbury. How are you, mate? I hope you're good. She put the beach at New Quay in Cardigan Bay. It sounds amazing. I love to be by the seaside. Sounds fun. Karen Copeland Phillips, she said, my home, sweet home. After a week in Turkey, as nice as it is, it was genuinely beautiful being around my family, being by the pool, eating glorious food and drink and stuff. But like to come back home, sleep in your own bed's great, isn't it? Literally, it's so relevant to me right now. Rob Chapman put the only place it can be within. Yeah, be within. Be with you. Steve Collins from Splash Damage Radio, the old gaffer from the radio station I used to work at. He put online playing tunes out to the faithful, doing what he loves, and he's great at it too. Make sure you give Splash Damage Radio a follow. Thanks, Steve. Sal Tong put right here, right now, to echo what Rob has just said, in the present. That's what we talked about a lot recently. Kate Bruno out in Vermont, she put Camp Basler in the North Jersey mountains. I really want to go to America. I was saying to my wife, I'd love to hire an RV and just go on an adventure somewhere. That'd be amazing. Zeus Fleming out there in Canada recently came on The Biscuit Guy. He's a fantastic actor, and he is just fantastic. He's doing lots with acting right now, landed 2 roles. He's also doing a lot of hosting a lot of panels on big Comic-Cons across Canada as well. So Zeus, you're the guy, and he put on stage to echo what he says. He's fantastic at what he does. Matt from the Nooks and Crannies podcast, he put forests, being out there in nature, very important. I love that. Very good. Yvonne Louise put my cozy, safe home, my space. Yes, home again. Gord Strain put my wife's vagina. What? I mean, a lot of guys echo that, but I wasn't expecting that, Gord. Another crazy Canadian. Hope you're well, my friend. And thank you for your hilarious comment. Dave Mitchell, you put on the mats at jiu-jitsu training. It's mad, isn't it, when people can center themselves and find calmness in a place of combat. But I genuinely, I know people that mirror you, Dave. It's an interesting thing. It's a place that you're born to be in, I think, that's really cool. So thank you guys for sending in your comments. I appreciate you've had to wait a couple of weeks to hear them. But there they are. I want to finish off by saying I'll say thank you to Chris from Motum, who we've talked about in this episode. We've been chatting. We're going to organise a podcast very soon. I'd love to get him on the biscuit and talk about what's going on there, what he's doing with Cat Merrick there. It sounds amazing. And I want you guys to go and follow Cat's This Vibrant Life as well, especially if you're a female, a leader, and want a bit of focus and want to be able to sort of better yourself in the ways that we've just heard Kat talking about. So that's This Vibrant Life, and I'll put the link in the comments as well in the readout of the podcast. Right, anyway, guys, I'm going to go. We're chatting for 4 minutes. Love you guys. Thank you for tuning in, and I'll catch you on the next one with our MP, Julia Buckley. See you guys next week. Peace out.